Hey, everybody, it's Nate Charles, and welcome back to the Rule of Law Brief. So, today, a follower asked a direct question, and I think it was a good one. She asked, who can stop him? She was referring to Donald Trump. Who can get rid of Donald Trump at this point? Who can curb his authoritarian tendencies? It's the right question to ask right now because the constitutional system that we have was never designed to handle a president like Donald Trump who rejects the idea that the law applies to him. The Constitution creates a simple set of interlocking restraints. Courts issue binding rulings. Congress controls money. The executive executes the law. The design is intentionally dull, but this system assumes that the president respects judicial authority. For 200 years, even the most aggressive presidents accepted limits once a federal court said stop. Not because they liked it, but because the compliance is the glue that holds the entire system together. Trump has shown that that system only works if the person in the Oval Office believes in the rule of law. And he doesn't. When the courts have declared his actions unconstitutional, he treats their orders as political problems, barely even a stumbling block, not legal commands. That's authoritarian logic. The law only limits you when someone can physically force you to obey it. Short of a man with a gun and an ultimatum, Donald Trump ignores that constraint. Congress briefly exercised the power of the purse by refusing to pass a budget. That is one of the bluntest constitutional tools that they have. For about 6 weeks, it mattered, until key Democrats folded when it became politically uncomfortable. They funded the government despite the fact that withholding funding was the only leverage that they had against unlawful executive behavior. Once they caved, that check on Donald Trump's power died. Now, Congress does have another tool, a more direct one: impeachment and conviction. The House alone can pass articles of impeachment, but impeachment doesn't remove a president. The articles then go to the Senate for trial conducted under the Chief Justice of the U.S. Supreme Court. The senators then act as a quasi-jury and vote on conviction. Now, in theory, this process is supposed to comply with a legal standard. Has the president committed high crimes or misdemeanors? It's supposed to be detached, objective, and rooted in constitutional duty. But in modern practice, that's not how Congress behaves. Impeachment has devolved into a political performance aimed at pleasing the cameras and the voters back home. And yet, and this is critical, the political nature of the process doesn't change the underlying facts. At this point, Trump has unquestionably committed high crimes and misdemeanors. He was impeached twice in his first term, and that first term looks almost quaint compared to the open lawlessness of his second term. The severity, frequency, and brazenness of his misconduct have multiplied. And in a moment of unguarded truth, Trump spokesperson Caroline Leavitt recently said that if Republicans lose the midterms, Donald Trump will be impeached. She's probably right, but just not for the reasons that she implied. Yes, impeachment has become a political animal, but that political degeneration doesn't erase the reality that Trump has committed more than enough conduct to justify impeachment and conviction many times over. Leavitt's statement accidentally admitted something fundamental. If a non-Trump aligned Congress were elected, the constitutional machinery would finally have the will to act. Not because impeachment is weaponized, but because the president has blown straight through the legal boundaries the Constitution sets. Which brings us back to the real answer to our follower's question. Who can stop him? The courts can, but he ignores them. Congress can, but they lack the backbone to do so, and they've otherwise treated the power of the purse as political theater. So the real answer, which is very uncomfortable, is us. We can stop him. The voters. If impeachment is going to work, we need a Congress composed of people who take their oaths and their commitment to the rule of law seriously. If the power of the purse is going to function, we need representatives who won't fold the moment that cable news turns against them. And this isn't just a federal issue. State legislatures draw the congressional maps that determine who ends up in Congress. If voters elect hyperpartisan, unserious state legislators, they will produce a Congress, a federal Congress, full of hyperpartisan, unserious members. The result is predictable. Constitutional tools that exist on paper but never function in practice. So the question isn't simply who can stop Donald Trump. The question is, why do we, the people, keep electing representatives who refuse to use the constitutional powers they already have? Because the blunt truth is this: the Constitution is only as strong as the voters who choose the people entrusted to enforce it.